These two stone-coated trims are used in conjunction with the rake roofed wall. One is called a rake cover, one is called a Z-bar attachment. Rake cover, they all have a groove on this front edge to lock into the top course of this product. Typically,
cut yourself.
pinch it there. Installing this product before you start getting into shingles is recommended because you're closing the gap where you can slide the shingle into. Bring this down to the outside edge. Guys get tricky with their installation, cutting them off flush. It all depends on how you want to install that.
Is there different widths of that rake?
There is not. This is the standard width of the rake. So it's a little bit larger. The benefit of it being a larger product is, say you get into a roofing project where you rip the old starter strip off of that shingle and it doesn't reach down. So now you have, you know, different soffit fascia aluminum work that you have to do on that outside rake edge, or else you have a chunk of wood sticking out after the rake cover. Our competitor Decra, they do that. They have a very small 1-inch reveal down.
The others in the industry.
That's right.
That's what I thought you
That's
said.
right.
We don't say competition because we don't have it.
Exactly. So through installing this product here, you're going to put a screw on the outside fascia piece.
So in other words, if that has an aluminum rake on the outside of that house already, this is going to go over that aluminum rake?
That is correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
So screw fastening it, there is a drip kick at the bottom edge.
I see that.
That's the best part, or best area I should say, to actually put the screw, because it hides the screw on that outside face. Also, screws do come color to match, so it's not an issue for your outside roofs.
So going back to what you said about, how do you say it, Decra? What is different on their rakes versus ours?
Their rake edge comes down and it only drops down roughly 1 inch to 3/4 of an inch on the outside fascia, or the outside barge board.
All right.
That being said, it may not cover the old product that was there. So you'd have to get into other work involved with that roofing system instead of being able to just come in and cover it up. This gives nice, straight, clean lines up your rake edge. Okay. So again, fastening on all of the 10-foot pieces of trim, all of these trim pieces are 10 foot. They're actually fastened every roughly 16 inches on your outside edges going up.
That has to be slid in from top to bottom. You can't just
You can clip it in, but once you get a long 10-foot section, it's very difficult to clip it in. Sliding it together and taking it up on the roof is going to be a lot easier for your rake cover.
And on the 10-foot, so let's say you got a 15-foot rake. You're not going to run a 10 and a 5. You're going to want to split it right in the middle of that, or?
You know what? No, you can run a 10 and a 5 as long as you keep it uniform on both sides of that roof. You should be perfectly fine. Yeah.
What kind of lap do you need when you're going to do that?
Depending on your product, say on your starter strip, if you were to get into 1.5 inches, that would be sufficient of an overlap. When you're overlapping your rake trims and stuff like that, that's exactly the same. Roughly 1.5 inches.
You are going to overlap the rake.
That's right. If you butt it up, you have the potential of seeing that line a lot easier than butting it across. Right. If this was a sidewall, say this was sidewall here, this product, and it can be clipped on easier than the rake cover, like that. So wall's there, you've clipped it on. Depending on what you're flashing against, if you've got siding, you may want to get your siding off in that area and then bring it back down on top of this. If you have stone or some type of masonry product, you may want to make a bend in this and groove a riglet into your brick, tuck it in, and then seal the top. There's many multiple different ways. If this is a skylight, same type of deal. You may need to cut a section of that off to allow it to get up underneath and flash against that skylight properly. So it can be manipulated to how you need it to work.
So this versus on a sidewall, masonry versus, let's say like a wood or vinyl siding, then you don't have different
trim pieces for that.
No,
That's
it's all the
correct.
same.
It's all the same.
So in other
it's all
words,
the
where
same
I'm
J-channel.
going with this, on a metal flat, we would have to metal flash the sidewall then, before that?
You're taking this
No.
piece right here,
Yep.
Okay,
you're taking the piece that he's got sticking up there, and for brick,
yeah,
you're gonna put it on the break, and you're gonna break it in,
gotcha,
and cut a line in the brick, and then just seal it into the brick.
okay.
For siding, you're gonna
Step
take
flash.
it loose and get it up.
Yeah.
Get up underneath.
Okay.
Count
All right.
flashing.
If you're shingling, that's the product you're using. That
Correct.
pop can material versus this 26 gauge piece of steel. This flashing is a heck of a lot beefier than what you're used to using flash cards.
Yeah, but the only concern I have with looking at that is ice damming on a northern exposure that doesn't get a lot. Just I kind of worry about that right there. Because if code says you got to have so much up in Michigan, you have to have 6 inches up. If you're not hitting
That's
6
correct. So that'd be
inches.
6 inches of an ice and water shield or
And flashing.
and flashing.
Yeah, that's why they make those that way.
Gotcha. One other. Well, what do we have here for?
Because they have to
for
come
height?
up, because then, so that's flashed up and under. And
Got
then you're-
4
I mean,
inches between the two trims. One thing you could add, we do offer a flat stock piece, which you could bend another section to counter flash over top of this.
Okay.
Or bend a piece up 6, 8, whatever, how many inches you need to go at that point. All right,
So
good.
they can be bought.
So then you're screwing that in every 16 inches
Yeah,
on
every
center?
16 inches as well, working your way up the roof.
And then you're talking about bringing the vinyl siding over it?
That's correct, yeah, down, would be down on top of this
Okay,
J
just-
piece.
just a little, right?
Yeah, correct, exactly.
Okay. And then,
Exactly. One thing I didn't touch on earlier, with the small shingles, you don't run into expansion and contraction like you do with long sheet steel. It's small, there's a lot more room for it to move compared to that long sheet. So it's just another benefit in the industry of a smaller panelized product.